Beating the Deity AI is all about taking an advantage and running with it, and one of the best advantages that you can run with is the Rationalism policy card. This thing, unlocked in the Enlightenment, is amazing at just spiking science up in all of your cities, but as of one of the changes they put through in December, the policy card is a little bit more difficult to make tick. The idea is simple. If you build a campus and you have buildings in it, the buildings include the library, the university, and the research lab, any building you put in a campus is increased by 50% if the population of the respective city is 15 or higher, and 50% additionally if the district has at least +4 adjacency bonus, at least being the key there. It does need a +4 adjacency bonus. +4 itself is fine, but +3, no, they've changed it. In addition, population of 15 is an increase on the population of 10 it used to be. It means if you've got a campus in the city with 15 pop and the campus has a +4 adjacency bonus, then you get 100% extra science within the buildings. And for the avoidance of doubt, it should be made clear that it does not affect the adjacency of the campus itself. This is purely a science bonus to the buildings within the campus. The first part of that is making sure that we've got +4 campuses, because it's actually more difficult to do than you would think. Campus adjacencies are split into 3 different groupings. You have the minor adjacencies, such as 2 adjacent rainforests, 2 adjacent districts, for instance. A minor adjacency, you've got to have 2 of that thing to get a +1. If you have 3 of that thing, you still get a +1. It rounds up to that's how many you need to do it. You have standard adjacencies where you get +1 science for each of that respective thing, mountains being the clear option there, but also the government plaza being another one. And you have major adjacencies. There is a wonder that gives you that, but generally speaking, geothermal fissures and reefs are the only things that will give you major adjacencies. Now, as you can see, Civ 6 is built on a hex grid, which means any one tile, like this tile here, has 6 around it. It means that to get a +4, you can't just rely on minor adjacencies anymore. What used to be able to happen is if you put a district down and surrounded it by 6 other districts, that would be your +3. You would be done. Not anymore. We look at the mathematics of it, it just doesn't work. You've got 6 tiles, 6 minor adjacencies, you only get +3. You need at least some regular or major adjacencies, or standard adjacencies, in order to get to that +4. So planning districts becomes a little bit of an exercise in trying to work out how to do that. It is of course complicated even further by some tiles not being able to either be settled on or improved in such a way. This lake, for instance, is a classic example. Strategic resources, antiquity sites that haven't been removed yet, luxury resources as well. All of these things provide problems with district placement. It does make it incredibly difficult to find. Mathematically, assuming a campus has nothing around it with 6 tiles available to be improved by something that gives an adjacency bonus, it is possible to do it with 2 standard adjacencies and 4 minor adjacencies. The standards would give you the +2 and the 4 minors would also give you +2. That sort of arrangement, though, is quite tricky. Finding something that's got 2 standard adjacencies, such as 2 mountains, and then 4 regular adjacencies or minor adjacencies that give you the extra bonus, that mathematically is very difficult. What probably would need to happen in order to get your +4 is you've got to look for somewhere with 3 standard adjacencies. 3 standard adjacency tiles around it mean you only need 2 minor adjacencies, so that's 5 tiles that need to be utilised in the campus's efficiency. Hell, if you can get 4 standard adjacencies around a campus, that's great. Surrounding it by 4 mountain tiles is the classic way of doing that. But the other way of doing it is to find the major adjacencies. These geothermal fissures and these reefs, they become super important because you settle on top of or have a campus right next to one of those, suddenly that's half of your +4 done. You would only need a couple of mountains or 4 rainforests, for instance, around it to complete the +4. It is so important to get that +4 science if you can, because it makes a huge difference when it comes to building the district. And it is really, really easy then to follow your nose and just to say, well, I'll go for any +2, because +2 is really good. No, +2, or +3 for that matter, doesn't mean a thing if you can't get it to +4. For instance, this tile here is +2 because of the 1 mountain and the 2 rainforests adjacent to it, but that is very unlikely to be made any better than that, because I can't improve this diamonds tile, I can't improve the mountain tile in any way that's going to increase my science further. I have 2 rainforests on these tiles that really can't be removed. I can't put a harbour on this tile. I can put 1 district here, but that would only give me a +3 at the very most with a government plaza. So even though that looks like a nice +2 campus, it's not going to help me at all. This tile, for instance, as well is a +2, and that's because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rainforests around it. That's what we're talking about with the minor adjacencies. But if I were to stick a district on this tile, for instance, that would give me +3 because I'd have another minor adjacency from 2 districts. And if I put the government plaza on it, that would give me the +4 I'm looking for. Remember though, the government plaza is an interesting way of getting yourself to that +4, but you can only put 1 of them down. That's 1 across your entire empire, so you can't rely on it. If a city is capable of producing a +4, you need to take that option without really relying on anything else. For now, I am going to put the +2 here, because we can extrapolate from that and we can make it better. It is also worth bearing in mind that both the Enlightenment and 5-year plan policy cards increasing 100% campus adjacency bonuses, neither one affects the adjacency bonus of rationalism. That should be pointed out. This has to be an organic +4. It should also be pointed out that none of the governors affect adjacency bonuses in cities at all. So governors are not going to help you here. So there you can see the +2. What we're going to do is we're going to end up building the government plaza, as discussed, on this tile. It gets rid of the woods, but it retains the integrity of the rainforests around it in order for us to get that done. And don't forget, those rainforests have to remain there in perpetuity. If they don't, the campus will lose its bonus. Well, alternatively, because they are minor adjacencies, I could replace them with something else that gives minor adjacencies. So if I replace 2 of these rainforests with districts, I can retain the integrity of this district. If you feel like you're not going to remember that, it's always worth using map tacks. Just stick them down. Yes, it leaves your screen a little bit cluttered as they all go down, but you will regret not doing it if you then chop one of those things down and lose yourself a good 10 science per turn because you haven't left the +4 adjacency. So there is the +4. So you can see rationalism will be making a difference now, and there's the +3 science. The +3 science, of course, is +3 from the library and +6 from university, or to put it another way, 2 from the library, 4 from university, total to 6, and then 50% of that is the extra 3, which gets me to 9. In Rome's case, what I'm then going to do is I will replace 2 tiles with it. I can't put an aqueduct onto that rainforest tile, but I could put something else there. So what I'm going to end up doing is put an industrial zone on this tile, which will remove the +4, and then a commercial hub on this tile, which will restore it, because at that point our campus will have 1 minor adjacency from the rainforest, 2, 3 from the districts, and 4 from the government plaza. Now this settler over in this direction has found a geothermal fissure. Don't forget that gives a +2 adjacency, and already I can see that this tile here would be a +3. It would have the +2 from the major adjacency of the geothermal fissure, and +1 from 2 rainforest adjacencies. So it actually would have 3 rainforests around it, but don't forget it rounds down. So it's worth sticking a city down where I can and plopping the campus down onto my +3. In order to make it into a +4, I need to give it another minor adjacency. 2 districts sounds like it could be a good shout. So I'll stick a bath down here. That will give it the +4 it needs. And just so I don't forget as well, there go the tax. Don't be ashamed to put these things down. You want to keep those rainforests. The other issue you've got to think about is getting a city to 15 population. 15 population is incredibly difficult to do, and there are 2 reasons for it. Firstly, getting enough food in to push you to that level is actually remarkably difficult. The ways you deal with food is an improved city builder adjacency maximization, that you have to keep building builders. If you're ever unsure what to do, because I've got 2 districts, but after that point I'm not entirely sure what I'll end up doing, you have to go builders, builders, builders. Always do builders. You clear nice amounts of farmland. So here, look, I can see there's 5 tiles, maybe 6 down here in a lovely triangle where I could put an amazing web of farms down. That would give me huge food growth potential, and that would help to boost the Rome's food effectively all the way to 15 pop. The second is housing. Housing can be achieved in a number of different ways. Improving the farmland around your city is a fantastic way of doing that, as well as camps and pastures and plantations, improvements that give one housing for every two improvements. Makes a big difference. If you look at a city, you can work any tile within 3 rings of the city. Within Rome, that's 36 tiles. If I improved farming on all of those tiles, I would have 18 extra housing. So it helps. Again, not very practical, but that would be one way of getting it. Ideally, you need to get to 17 housing in order to get your city to 15 pop. If you don't do that, then your city will hit the housing capacity. Sewers, granaries, neighbourhoods, aqueduct districts are all very good examples of buildings that you want to achieve in order to get your housing up. Although there are other buildings throughout your empire, such as universities being a good example, that also give extra housing. Districts generally will help you get housing, and if in doubt, stick a neighbourhood down. You can use neighbourhoods to get minor adjacencies to your campuses, but you can also get a huge amount of housing down as well. Just remember, 17 housing is where you need to be in your city. If you haven't got that, you're not going to get to 17 pop, 15 pop. This is an example of using standard adjacencies here. I can see that there are 2 mountain tiles next to each other, which means a campus here would have +2. In addition, I've also got rainforest. That gives me +3. So, by moving here and settling on this tile, and building a district on this tile, I can get my +4 by having 2 mountains, 2 rainforests, and 2 districts. There are multiple governments that will help you. Monarchy giving you housing per walls, that's a really good way of getting yourself up. Classical Republic as well gives you the extra housing and an amenity which helps to keep your cities happy. Democracy and the policy card Wisselbanken also give you huge amounts of food per trade route. Late game, that's an incredibly useful way of pumping your food up. I have the suzerainship of Johannesburg, so I can send a trade route to it and provide +6 food into Rome. That's a huge growth bonus. I can see down here as well, but I have a reef tile on the coast. Reefs, again, give major adjacency, so a campus on any one of these tiles would already start with a lovely +2. But don't forget, +2, I need more than that. So even if I were to stick a campus here, I would have to have cities or districts on this, and this tile in order to get to the +4. +3s are useless. +4 is what you need. And to prove what I was saying before, if we have a look at the Empire view, this campus is currently +3 because the commercial hub is being built, so I only have 2 rainforests, 2 districts, and a government plaza. And this city over here is +3, 2 from a geothermal fissure, 2 from rainforest, and I'm still building the aqueduct. Because of that, rationalism gives me nothing. Even though the 5-year plan is boosting my adjacency and doubling it, it doesn't help with rationalism. Sticking this city down as well, there's Ostia. If I build myself the campus onto this tile, that gives me the +3. I then need to think about what I'm going to be building on this tile, the only other tile. I think for now, even though it doesn't help me particularly, it will give me another trade route, so I'll be building another commercial hub on that tile. Interestingly, because I'm not using this rainforest, it's the 3rd rainforest around my campus, I can actually clear it to no disadvantage to me at all. That finishes the bath, which means now my campus is lovely +4. I have a 2nd food route coming into Lisbon now. That gives me an amazing +6 food on top of the +6 food I had before. And suddenly, you can see Rome is now beginning to grow. The builders are also going to appear, and I'm going to start putting down farmland to help me grow even further. You can see the rainforests here are doing well at giving me the +1 minor adjacency because I've got 2 of them. But I actually don't need them if I replace them with districts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an industrial zone here, and then a neighbourhood district there. That will keep the +4, but obviously puts these tiles into much more workable tiles for me to use. So you can see now I'm building these triangles of farms. With feudalism, the farms will give me extra food, and once you get a little bit further in the science tree, don't forget that replaceable parts improves food for adjacent farms even more. But you can see Rome is now working these tiles, and will slowly start to increase the amount of food it gets per turn until I can hit that beautiful 15 population. What you start to do is track all the potential +4 districts in your empire. Look for reefs, look for geothermal fissures. Those 2 will give you the biggest bonuses, and then you start to extrapolate from there. This reef has a tile next to it with 2 rainforests. That gives me a potential campus here of +3. If I put a district here and here, or even in the sea tile over here, then quite quickly I've got what I need. There's actually a double wreath here as well. So this tile, just on the coast there, that's already a +4. Finding somewhere that can actually utilise it may be trickier though, because Johannesburg's placement as well as my city's placement kind of blocks it in a little bit. Where food is involved, never be afraid to really get those farms down and clear some land out to enable you to do that. It's important you get to population 15. This area of the map gives us two possibilities really. The Wreath is a fantastic opportunity to get a city down, but don't forget, with one major adjacency, you still need 4 minor adjacencies. So it's going to be tricky to get it down. If I stuck the campus here, for instance, I wouldn't be able to actually complete it, because even if I had 1-2 districts down, oh actually no I could, there is a harbour placement there. So that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. The campus here as well would be just as easy to do, because as long as I set a city next to it, I could have a harbour and some more districts around it to surround it. So actually, that's a better place than I thought. The other place to be would be next to these 2 mountains. This 2 tiles, effectively these would give it a beautiful +2. I would then need to do 4 minor adjacencies around the campus in order to make that work. That's trickier because it's between the 2 cities, although it is possible. So I'm going to move the settler a little bit further down and put the campuses next to this wreath instead. Clearing rainforests, marshes and any other improvement or feature that gives food also is a fantastic way to boost a city's population. Although, don't forget, you often destroy food tiles to do that. But farms will get you there quicker, ultimately. So another city placement, plonk it down. As you can see, this campus, if I put it down onto the tile, it's already a +3. As discussed, because I've got my city next to it, I can also put a district in this location. For now, again, we'll go for a commercial hub, or I'm going to utilise the sea to put a harbour down. That should give us the +4 we're after. Again, by settling here, I've got myself already a nice +2. So I'm going to stick the city down there. This campus can be improved by a harbour on that tile, and then we can start to improve these 2 tiles with, let's say, a commercial hub and a neighbourhood. You see, just from this little food web, I've created a tile with 9 food on it, a farm. It's literally just got farms around it. If we look at Rome, you can also see that I have 14 extra food coming in from trade routes through the democracy function. There's 101 ways in Civ to improve your food. These are just some ways. And this gives you the example. If we have a look at the Empire view, you can see Rome. It has the +4 because of rainforest, district, government plaza. Beautiful +4. Ostia has a +4 as well. Rainforest, mountain, district. We've got +4 in Antium, which is Wreath, districts, and rainforest. +4 in Aratim, which is the geothermal fissure, district. And we're working on a +3 in Cume, which is the Wreath, 2 districts, and we just need 1 more district on top of that. And as you look at Rationalism, and you can see that it's giving us 18 science per turn, we can investigate as to why those numbers are here. In an unimproved city, so this doesn't have +4 or 15 pop, you can see the library is giving +2 and the university is giving +4. In Ostia, which doesn't have a population but does have the adjacency, the library is +3 and the university is +6. And in Rome, you can see the library is +4 and the university is +8, because it's getting the full 100% bonus because it's got not only the population but also the adjacency bonus. If you expertly master the Rationalism card, the science you can get is insane. And don't forget, this is done with a Civ that gets 0 adjacency bonuses, and I've managed it in most of my cities. It's difficult, you won't do it in everywhere, and there's a lot more work to do. Arretium, I could do with a lot more food. I could be working these farms around to improve this. Now that Rome, for instance, is happily population 15, I don't particularly need it to grow any faster, so I can swap these tiles over and make sure that Arretium is nicely growing now. You can see how this would quickly spiral. Do this right, and Deity AI will stand no chance against you. And finally, a very special shout out goes to Scott Stratton, Major King Kong, Matthew Wilkinson and Salty Tech for all of your support on Patreon, as well as everybody else who's joining the community and making this place a fantastic space to be. Thank you guys, you keep me going.